I was kind of like a short-lived missionary because I didn't stay in an area for very long. I hopped from area to area. The longest I was ever in an area was 4.5 months. I started my mission in Gillette, Wyoming, and from there I went to Ennis, Montana, which is just a small, small little town with a little branch. It's beautiful, beautiful land. And then from Ennis, I went to Laurel, Montana, which is more of a outside of Billings, a city kind of place. But it was nice. It had some big farmlands and a lot of like different areas, no matter where you went. And I stayed in there for 4.5 months, and I loved Laurel. And then right before Christmas, I got transferred to Cody, Wyoming. And without a doubt, Cody, Wyoming was probably one of my favorite places on my mission. It was beautiful, but it was also just a learning experience. It was such a learning experience. And it helped me grow, and it helped me to become more converted in the gospel. And I sent a lot of companions home in that area. But for Cody, Wyoming it's the Buffalo Bill place of the area. When they say the Wild, Wild West, they mean Wyoming. And Cody, Wyoming was named after Cody, Buffalo Bill. There's a big, huge museum there. It's giant. And it has all the history of there, and so on preparation days we were able to go there sometimes. And it had one of the most beautiful places in Cody, though, was the Mural Museum. Not many people know about it, but it's a huge part of church history. It's so beautiful. If you go to the Mural Museum, you get a tour from a couple missionaries, and they take you around, and you get to kind of read the history of it. And when you look up at the mural, it's on the roof, and it was painted by a guy who he wanted to do it right. He was asked to do it, and so he wanted to do it right, so he studied and studied and studied on the LDS religion. And he went to all these different places that the pioneers went and just got a feel for it, and he wrote the story and painted it on the mural above of the story of Joseph Smith. And it was so beautiful. It was Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, and then it was the pioneers all the way around, and how the pioneers came to Utah, and how this was the place, and just it was a beautiful set of art. And then right in the middle was one of the original Book of Mormons, and it was this place. And then you'd go off, and there was pioneer history and this little museum part where you'd see hand carts, and you'd be able to go around and read about some of the pioneers and their stories, and it was just kind of amazing how much you would learn in a place like that about the church and the church history. Because being a convert, I still continue to learn about the church history, and it's something that fascinates me. I love the Book of Mormon. I read it so many times on my mission, but I continue to learn and get my mind blown by the history of the church and the pioneers and everything that they had to go through. And so it was beautiful. It was so beautiful to see this mural with the story of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. And then they had this machine there that you could figure out your family history. And that was really cool because I was never into family history until Cody, Wyoming. And in Cody, Wyoming, I was able to learn more about my family history, and I started doing it on preparation days and started doing it when I had time, and started finding names to take to the temple. So it was a really cool experience. But there's a lot of history there. And from Cody, after being there for 4.5 months, it was so hard to leave that place, but I went to Shepherd, Montana, and up in the Heights in Billings. And that place was beautiful, and I fell in love with Shepherd too. Every area I just fell in love with. And it's truly the people that make the place. There's hands down, no doubt, no matter how beautiful the place may be and the gorgeousness and the history, it's the people that make it. And Shepherd had so many humble, sweet people in that farming community. And it was really cool to see, and how they all helped each other. From Shepherd, I went to my last area, and I was called to Bozeman, Montana. And there I spent my last 2 transfers, and it was a hard area. My companion and I were just building trust with a lot of people there. Trust that in the missionaries, trust in just the whole area, and it was an accomplishment for sure, but I was able to leave my mission feeling like I accomplished it and was able to gain the trust and help people to know what we were really there for and to touch a lot of people's lives. There's a lot of miracles. I loved learning from the trials in the areas that I served, because no matter how hard it got, I learned something from it, and I was able to feel the Spirit humbling me, because sometimes we all need to be humbled, and I was definitely one of those that the Lord needed to humble to be able to see what was all around me.